and try to run a. Whoa!
Oh my God! Oh my God!
You actually scared the crap out of me. Holy crap! Oh my God, we're getting Goosey night? I didn't know it was Goosey night. Oh yeah, and speaking of Goosey night, tonight is actually Goosey night. Go out and goose your neighbor. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. A little toilet paper in their tree.
Yep.
You know, maybe throw an egg at their mailbox. I don't know, their front door. I think maybe you could do something to the paint, something. You can figure something out.
It's a little over the line.
Have a little fun. It is.
Toilet paper's fine.
You better know the person pretty good if you're going to throw eggs.
Get your ass kicked or chased down the street.
Had a few stories like that in my day.
Oh, man, don't we all?
Snowballs or eggs at the front door, and then a father chasing us down the street. I've been in that story before. But what's up, everybody? It's Chris Simms. It's Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Ahmed Fareed is not here. We have substituted him for a way cooler person than Connor Rogers. What's up? Hope you're good. It's the Pick Six podcast. It's week 8 review a little bit. You know it. And as always, we are presented by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. What's up, dude?
What's going on? It's great to be here, man. Catching up. I love the term Goosey night.
Goosey night.
We called it Mischief night.
You called it Mischief night?
Yeah.
I learned it from my mom. My mom called it Goosey night when I was little, and then I just went with that. And it seemed to be, the New York, New Jersey term for it.
I was curious where that came from.
Yeah. So your Mischief night.
Right.
Pete's put a little thing out here. Devil's Night is what they call it in Michigan and Detroit.
Yeah,
okay, you've heard that before?
Yep.
Moving Night in Baltimore. I've never heard of that one.
Probably hits different in Baltimore.
Gate Night in Canada. Yeah.
Okay.
Gate Night. Okay. I don't know what they're doing there.
Canada's
Cabbage
got
Night
a weird
in
term
Ontario.
Yeah.
And Mat Night in Quebec. So Canada's all over the place on this night, but it is a cool night. I kind of used to like this as a kid to
I thought
go
it was
out, do
spookier
something.
than Halloween because there's less people out, but when you see someone, you're kind of on edge.
You're kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah. There's some real weirdos out on Goosey night.
We had a family a few years ago show up on our porch with clown masks on. And I can still remember my daughter was probably at the time, gosh, this is probably 6 or 7 years ago. So she's like 12 or 13. She was walking around the house. All of a sudden, she comes in the kitchen, and I'm like, she's got this look on her face. And I'm like what's wrong?
shock.
What's wrong? And she's like, I don't know what I think I just saw a clown in the front window. I don't know. And she was all shocked, and we went out there, and of course it was Goosey night, and some family friends got us.
Did they
It was pretty
stay
good.
and wait for
they
you?
Did. They did. They let us know. No.
Oh,
they kind of were
with it.
hanging around, sticking their head out, hiding, sticking their head out again, and she caught that. But
that's pretty scary.
That is pretty scary.
It's also bold too because you never know what porch you're going to walk on. Some people are crazy.
Well, right.
They don't like that.
I guess they knew.
You're nice.
I guess they know I'm nice. They probably know I don't have any guns, so we're good.
It's a little different in
be careful according to
area.
what neighborhood you're in on Goosey night.
I guess you could do that in the tri-state area. Listen, we got the Pick Six here. Your weekly Wednesday segment, 6 topics, 6 questions. The homies have sent in a lot of different stuff.
Good.
I think we got to start with Anthony Richardson as much as we're going to get to Caleb versus Jayden, Kyler versus Tua. Of course, Jameis giving the Browns a little bit of a spark against that.
Some stuff to talk about there.
Ravens struggling pass defense. And then maybe at the end we'll talk about some teams that need to make a trade. We've had plenty of activity already leading up to the trade deadline. But starting with Anthony Richardson, I was a little surprised by this, Chris. I know they've looked more efficient and more productive with Joe Flacco, but when you watch the tape and the difference in this offense with Richardson, with Flacco, does Flacco really give them the best chance to win?
I think in totality, he gives them more versatility to win. Okay, that's what I would say. And I would say right now he does give them the best chance to win. And that's what they're trying to balance. They're trying to bring a guy along that they believe has the talent to be the franchise quarterback and do that, but he's young, he's extremely raw, and he didn't get to play last year. They're in a tough spot, but their team is also in contention right now for the playoffs. And you can't be the head coach of a football team and look your guys in the eyes in the locker room, team meeting and all that and go, hey, we're trying to make the playoffs, when everyone's like, wait, the guy that's playing backup quarterback tears everybody up at practice every day, and the guy that's the starter, the ball's all over the place, in the game, in the practice field, whatever it may be. I told some people last week, and I said this on Sunday to Ahmed a little bit, that I had heard there was a chance that even last week in 2-minute situations or end of the game, if they felt like they had to go down and throw the ball to win the game, that they might pull the trigger and go with Joe Flacco, right? Because they felt like their relationship's good. Joe's not trying to politic and be the starter.
Right.
He's very supportive of Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, I think, is very honest and real to a degree of like knowing where he's at in his career or where he's at in his development, and he likes Joe Flacco. So I had heard that, but still, nonetheless, to hear this was shocking. I didn't think this was going to come about like this right now. I guess I shouldn't say shocking. I just didn't think they would pull the trigger quite yet on this type of move. And, we'll see where it goes from here.
Right, because of the prospect Richardson was. He was a developmental borderline project. I mean, he could do some things that give you a floor now, which was mostly running-based and deep throwing-based.
That's all it is. I mean, it's running-based, and it's only his fastball. His biggest problem, of course, is he's still not reading defenses properly all the time, playing in the pocket the right way all the time, but his throwing is all over the place. And if he has to throw a 25-yard laser or a bomb post, he's great. But when he has to throw maybe a shallow crosser, somewhat sidearm, or he has to throw a ball up and over a linebacker and put some touch on it, he really loses his way. And honestly, he doesn't even know how to do it mechanically. He if you watch him on some of his touch throws, he throws it a different way every time because he still can't figure out exactly what he wants to do as a quarterback to consistently make those throws. So that's an issue. And yes, he gives them the advantage in the run game. There's no doubt about that. But I think with Flacco back in this, yes, the fact that you're going to have to defend the pass to that extent will also help the run game.
I was going to ask that.
And we know their traditional run game with their lineman and Jonathan Taylor is still damn good, even without the Anthony Richardson quarterback design threat that goes along with it. Yes, they will be a better offense with Joe Flacco.
I wanted to ask that because we often fall into the trap of like, hey, it's going to help out. It might hurt the run game because Richardson gives you more variance in the run game. But with how effective play action can be with a player like Flacco that is accurate at all three levels and a running back like Jonathan Taylor, it might just balance out at the end of the day anyway.
Yes, I don't think I think it's in fact, I'd probably go ultimately, and if you let this experiment play out and let Joe Flacco play, I honestly think it's going to help the run game more. The fact that defenses will be like, wait, we can't play single safety high and always put 8 in the box and do stuff like that. Not with Joe Flacco. They got enough weapons on the outside to where they can push the ball down the field. And, of course, Shane Steichen is extremely creative as far as play design and how to attack people anyways. So, no, I do think they'll be better with Flacco. But at the same time, this doesn't mean it's the end for Anthony Richardson.
That was my next question.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
He's 22.
It's 22. He's young. So what? He's playing a little. He's learning on the fly. He's trying to do his best here. They're going to still stay, as far as, with their belief, confident in him. They're still going to stay that way. But right now, they know he's not playing to the capabilities that they thought he might be able to play at this point, and they got to make a move and try to help their football team and win football games. So that's what they're doing. But I don't think this is the end. I don't think this is going to be like, oh my gosh, Anthony Richardson's in the doghouse, anything like that. They're going to continue to work with him. He'll be a guy that after practice, I'm sure the quarterback coach will stay with him and they'll do reps and things like that to continue to help his development that way. But again, I think to have played and to be benched, I don't know. Is that worse than to never play like Jordan Love for 3 years? No. I mean, again, this is not the end of the world. This is a process. I think they knew it was going to be like this. And last year with him getting hurt and not being able to play is a ripple down effect into this year and why he's not where they would hope he would be in year 2 of his NFL career.
When you have a season-ending injury, especially as a young player, and that can linger into the offseason because you're doing a lot of rehab, especially rehab that can affect your actual workouts for the position.
For him, for sure. With your shoulder throwing.
How hard is it to go into an offseason like that and get better at things rather than I just got to get healthy in time for camp, and then you're kind of spiraling all over again because you didn't get to change your problems in the offseason.
I mean, it's big even if you don't have an injury,
right?
And you're not raw. I mean, I was a rep guy. A lot of guys are, where I don't care if I was hurt or not hurt or whatever. If I didn't get a lot of reps and then you threw me out on the football field, I was I wasn't very good. I wasn't. The game was fast. I was a little bit, the clock in my head was all messed up, all that type of stuff. So, I mean, practice reps, training camp reps, being able to do that full speed, of course, is huge in your development and where you are, as far as your comfort level in an offense or on the football field. Yes, some of that was taken away from him, let alone he was behind the 8 ball and all of those things to begin with. And then I think, you dive into Sunday a little bit, too, with, We're throwing for 44% every game. We're missing throws that, again, Johnny from high school can hit sometimes. Now, he makes some throws where I go, well, there's only like 2 or 3 people in football that can do that right there. But that's too few and far between. But then also I think, the taking himself out of the game, as I said Sunday night, I've never seen that in my life before. That was crazy. And I think that kind of shows maybe where he is in his maturity professional level right now, that he's not quite where you want him to be.
Yeah, we got to, obviously that was after the game we heard from Richardson. We'll take a listen to that. And we also got to hear his head coach's thoughts and Ryan Kelly's thoughts throughout the week on it as well. So listening on Richardson on why he took himself out of the game.
I ain't gonna lie, that was a lot of running right there that I did, and I don't think I was gonna be able to go that next play. So I just, just told Sam I just needed a break right there.
Yeah, we had a conversation about it this morning in the quarterback room, which I'll keep private. But obviously, in those situations, he knows, right, on those type of deals, like you can't take yourself out, and it's a learning experience for him, and he's got to grow from it.
We had a conversation about it, and I think he knows it's not the standard that that he needs to play up to, and the rest of the team holds him to. And I'll kind of leave the conversation that we had at that. But I'm sure he's going to take some criticism for that. It's just rightfully so, right? I mean, that's a tough look. But I'm also, he's out there giving it all for his team, right? And it's not always pretty sometimes. An offensive lull the last couple of weeks. Just having a hard time getting going at times. I thought we did some good things in the game, but. If anybody ever questions how hard he plays, I don't think that's the case. I mean, if you watch his film, surely, we didn't move the ball effectively at times, but I mean, he's giving it everything for his teammates. So he's young. I'm sure it's a learning moment for him, and I'll leave it at that.
He is young. He's 3 months younger than Shadur Sanders, for some perspective.
Right.
He's had 23 starts since high school. 1 as a redshirt freshman, 12 as a redshirt sophomore, 4 as a rookie, 6 this season.
Yeah.
But I'll say, Chris, we watch a lot of press conferences doing this job. That wasn't the most inspiring support of what he did.
No.
Steichen seemed annoyed, but was like, we're going to keep it internal.
Right.
I thought Ryan Kelly actually expanded on it a little bit.
He did a good job.
He did. It was very balanced.
He made his point, but also was like, hey, he's young and he's learning, and it's not like he doesn't want to win and do those type of stuff.
Right. But you could see there's just a little bit of frustration.
It's a no in the NFL.
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
I mean, again, look, you think he ran as much as Lamar did on any game this year? No. Right. Does Lamar tap out? Does Jayden Daniels tap out? Not at all. That's where it's crazy. So, again, I think when your play is not to a certain level, you don't buy yourself any excuses or the ability to do stuff like that. Let alone, that's still a no-no. Like, Ryan Kelly's sitting there going, wait, well, what about when you were scrambling around? I was running around trying to block somebody, and then the play before I was trying to block somebody when you were scrambling around, and the play before when you hand the ball off, I was actually still working while you just handed it off and watched the guy.
Right, and the play after. They ran the ball and he had the block.
Exactly right. So nobody wants to hear that. And especially from the franchise quarterback, the guy that's supposed to be leader of the football team, I can suck it up in any instance no matter what. This goes into a deeper problem of, wait, if you're going to play and you want to be a running quarterback and do that, then you better do some more wind sprints and be in shape.
Right.
I mean, plain and simple. But you can't be that type of quarterback and go, well, every time I have a big run and if I have to follow it up with another scramble, I'm going to come out of the football game. Not a good look. Football, no. And especially at the quarterback position. Again, like we've said, I'm trying to say it, somewhat politely, but I'm done with it. Everybody out there would tell you that they've never seen it. It's crazy. But either way, I do think they're in better hands with Joe Flacco at this point. I don't think this is the end of the world for Anthony Richardson, right? If Flacco continues to play good, okay, he's going to sit in the back and he's going to learn from him and hopefully get useful practice reps, and then it might just be kicked down the road till next year, and he gets that full offseason and gets to really turn the corner and maybe do that. But right now, Shane Steichen, Chris Ballard, I think they're making the right move by not holding the whole team hostage, just waiting for Anthony Richardson to get his development and his professionalism in check or in the right way.
And the odds makers agree with you. This week, the Colts travel to Minnesota for Sunday Night Football. Before the Flacco news, the Colts were 6-point underdogs. After the Flacco news, 5-point underdogs.
Well,
a full-point movement, even against a quarterback that doesn't move well against Brian Flores' blitz-heavy scheme, but we know Flacco can see everything in front of him.
Well, Minnesota stops the run, too. That's the other aspect of this. Minnesota's one of the best run-stopping teams in football, so I bet you they went into this going, wait, we're not going to beat them with this bullshit that we've been doing.
Right.
We got to throw the football, and with all the shit they do at the line of scrimmage, I don't know if Anthony Richardson is going to be able to direct traffic and get us in the right protections and check the plays with all the stuff they do to the capacity Shane Steichen might feel comfortable with, and that's where Joe Flacco is going to have great value this week against that defense.
All right, let's move on. Of course, before we get to the Jayden Daniels Hail Mary, which was the big story of the weekend, we got a great question from the homies here, Chris. Sloppy Joe Namath. Yo, Chris, I'm curious if you have ever completed a game-winning Hail Mary in your career at any level. It's got to be the greatest feeling.
I have not. And
how many opportunities do you even get,
actually,
though?
I mean,
you were in control of a lot of games throughout your life.
Well, yes. I mean, and when I wasn't, we were way out of it that a Hail Mary didn't make a difference. But I threw one Hail Mary, if I remember. Let's see. I think I threw, one at the end of the half once, right? Atlanta, I remember doing that. DeAngelo Hall intercepted it. The ball always found his hands. Gruden put me in at the end of the football game once to throw the Hail Mary in my second season in the NFL. I hadn't played a snap the whole game, but he knew I could throw it like 70, 75 yards, right, in my prime. But we were on our own 10-yard line. And he put us in. He's like, you go in. Maybe you could throw it down there and hit a Hail Mary and then hit another one. But my only experience with it, in 2009 Denver Broncos, Kyle Orton on our own 10-yard line threw a Hail Mary to midfield. They got tipped up in the air, and Brandon Stokely caught it and ran down the sideline with under 20 seconds left, scored a touchdown. We were losing 7-6 with no timeouts and 18 seconds in the game, and we won the game. So I was on the sideline for it once. It's insane.
Yeah.
Because you go from like, oh, man, this is going to be a horrible week. Monday's going to be miserable. We didn't play well. They're going to work us hard. Wednesday practice is going to be bad. To, oh, my gosh, we're going to win.
Everything's fixed.
Forget everything that we did bad. We won. Can we have the day off tomorrow? You know what I mean? So it's a crazy flip in your mind as far as what happens there emotionally.
How much time do NFL teams actually spend on that situation?
A lot.
They do.
A lot. 100%. When you talk about Hail Marys, gosh, I mean, I don't think there was ever a week that it didn't go by that it wasn't at least walkthrough on a Friday or a Saturday practice. At some point on a Friday practice was usually red zone. You do some 2-minute. There might be hey, let's do the Hail Mary, or the Saturday walkthrough. Guys know pads on, nothing like that, but they might walk through, again, the mechanics of it and how they want to play it and go over the details. Teams that I was on, I mean, I'm not joking. I feel like it was every week, 100%.
Wow.
Never forgotten. And, of course, we'll dive into that with the Jayden and Caleb stuff and how they messed up at the end of the football game.
Yeah, before we get to Jayden's Hail Mary, we got to talk Caleb Williams in this game because Caleb, the first 3 quarters, really couldn't get anything going, Chris. It was really, really ugly. It kind of felt like the first couple weeks of the season.
Definitely.
And then at the end of the game, something changed on those final 2 drives.
Yeah, they didn't protect well early, okay? I want to say that. But they looked like a team, and he looked like a player that, they had their bye week and they came back a little rusty. And you're exactly right, I think, with your phrase of it looked like Caleb the first week or two as far as what we saw on the offensive side of the ball. In fact, I would say in a lot of ways it was worse than that, just because the first weeks they kind of had the training wheels on. They were playing simple. There wasn't much there to where if you listen to my podcast then I was going, listen, he didn't play good, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like, oh, he missed plays all over the place. There wasn't much of a chance to do anything. This one, there are plays where the defense won on Washington, sure. But there was a lot of plays where I'd go, no, Caleb Williams missed the throws, didn't make the right read, was a little too anxious in the pocket at times, threw the ball way too hard a few times where, again, Caleb's got a nice smooth motion and he's sitting there throwing it, and all of a sudden it's like, all of a sudden, and he was errant with some throws early on because of that, just like I mean, a baseball hitter, a golfer, whatever, when you change swings or speed on your swing like that, you're going to lose control of the object. Exactly right. So he did a little of that. It's like he came into the game and I almost feel like he was like, hey, it's me versus Jayden. I'm back in my home area. I got people here. It's like he came into an agenda of how he wanted the game to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that happens to an athlete. Right, and you're thinking, I'm going to show them, and I can't wait to put on a show for all my family and friends because I'm from the D.C. area and all that type of stuff, the Maryland. So I'm sure all of that went into this, and that led to him, not playing his best football. In fact, I would go to say this was his worst game of his career. Worse than the first 2 games is, again, there was plays there to be had in this one, and I think the game looks a lot different if he can keep them on the field early on, hit some of these throws. Now Shane Waldron can get in a little bit of a rhythm of the offense and start to, oh, hey, look, we're doing this, and hey, we're doing this. But instead it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And you can never get in a rhythm, tie plays together that way, give a team a bunch of looks of something because you got to zigzag off of that later on, right?
Right.
And that was a big problem with the game on Sunday.
And it just felt like this was a team, to your point about the protection early on, they found themselves in 2nd and long, 3rd and really, really long.
Yes, they did.
Then he's got to make one of those USC miraculous plays.
Yep.
And we saw things get a little all over the place. I know there was a jump throw misfire to DJ Moore, I believe.
Definitely. I mean, he had a lot of missed throws. I mean, we can get into this.
Yeah.
Let's go right into it here. This is like early on in the football game, right? It's a 3rd and 20. So, again, I'm not trying to be too critical here, okay? But first off, he gets out of the pocket. He does a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. And I want you to look at the top of the screen. You got a Dunze going down the middle of the field. He's just clearing out. Keenan Allen's going to run the in-cut, follow that behind him, and you're going to see in the next picture, he is open, okay? You see, so right here, he's setting up. Here comes Keenan Allen into the screen. Put it on him. You're Caleb Williams. You're one of the best throwers in football. There's no doubt. I mean, that to me was just an early sign of like, okay, wait, the game's moving a little too fast. He's flustered. Instead, he sits there, he sees nothing, then continues to run, and then tries to throw some crazy throw to DJ Moore, who was way behind him, and he throws it behind DJ Moore incomplete. That was the first start of like, again, this I don't want to be too critical because he gets scramble and it's early in the game, but it was my first like, right before the bye, the 3 or 4 games before the bye, man, that was like he would have saw that and thrown a strike in there and perfectly. And that kind of put the alert on for me, like, oh, man, is this game going to be like this? And as we go through, of course, I got a lot more pictures and stuff to show you people open, bad reads, predetermining things, whatever you want. Like I said, it wasn't Caleb's best day.
Yeah, so that was on the first drive in the first quarter on a 3rd and 20 where he just looked hesitant.
Yes.
I don't know if he was afraid to throw an interception there.
I don't know
either.
Even
if you do, it's not that far off from the punt, by the way.
No. But even there, yeah, I don't know what it was hard for me to tell exactly what he was looking. It's almost like he set up and he just looked at DJ Moore and didn't really see the hole behind him in the first read of the play, which is Allen on that play. And again, it just seemed like the game was moving fast and he was a little flustered more than usual in this one, especially in the first 3 quarters.
Our next one was in the first quarter. This is with about 9 minutes left in the first quarter on a 1st and 10. Where,
I mean, again,
he's looking at him. I think he's looking at him.
He's looking at him, and this is the one where he throws the ball to him. At least he does this the right way. You see here, Washington, the Commanders, they're in Tampa 2. Washington really plays 2 coverages. They play man-to-man or cover 2, and they're unbelievable at disguising both of them to make them look the same. So they'll line up in man-to-man. You're like, man, they're playing man. And all of a sudden, set hut, and you go, whoa, that was cool. They got back to Tampa 2. Or they'll be like, oh, it looks like it's Tampa 2, and they find a way to get back into cover 1. They're very cool that way. But here's one, and this is one of the first ones that that I told you he missed about because he just tried to throw it too hard. I mean, just throw a nice lob over the middle. You could see he's wide open. Bobby Wagner's body is turned the other way.
Yeah, he's got to flip his hips here.
Let's see. We got another picture here, right? And you could see here, I don't know if he feels Cole Kmet underneath and thought that was a defender and tried to stop him with the ball. Either way, it was way off target. And again, another opportunity to move the ball, get a first down. Really, if he hits him on the run, it's going to be him one-on-one with a safety, and you're going to go, ooh, this could probably be another 20 yards. But he doesn't do any of that, and those are the things that when teams go, wait, we couldn't get going. Yeah, these are the things that stop you from getting going and letting the quarterback and the play caller, like I said, get in a rhythm and start flowing with offensive calls.
Let me ask you something as you've played this position at the highest level. When you see 2 guys open like that near each other, does something in your brain kind of screw with your mechanics as you're throwing to one, but they're both open where the ball could be placed not in between them, but just not when you see one guy and you throw it with anticipation. There's 2 guys open there. Is there something that could have kind of screwed him up?
I think what screwed him up is honestly because playing quarterback, I mean, for most people is like a series of still shots, right? You see still shots. I don't know. Maybe for Brady and Manning, it was a slow motion movie and they just could see it all, which it probably was when they really got grooving in their career. But for the most time, I get a little picture and then the guard and the defensive tackle are in my way. And then I get another little picture, right? And then I see where the linebacker and the safety is. But here's one where pocket's pretty clean and I feel like this is why I kind of said this the first time. I feel like he felt a body presence.
Sure.
And just didn't feel that it was his own guy. And that he like almost thought Cole Kmet was a defender. Like, wait, is that somebody on my team or their team? I feel the body. And like almost like he tried to stop Odunze from running himself into trouble or him throwing a ball that gets tipped or intercepted. Right. But I have no logic for it. But I would say with how he threw it, and then again, the RPMs and mile per hours in which he threw it, would tell me that he got a little scared that someone was there and he was off. And again, that goes into not seeing the field well and being a little hurried and flustered. And it felt like that for the most of the day with Caleb Williams.
So another drive before the half on a 2nd and 12.
Oh,
they are going down the field at this point. They're in Washington territory.
Right.
He's got two options open short, but he misses Allen on a deep shot, Chris.
Yes. He's the play, is period. Right, Cole Kmet. And if this picture just went another split second longer, you're going to see, you'll probably see it in the next one, but don't go to it yet. He turns around because this is a quick throw. This is what it's for. It's basically like a pick rub play, right? That's what it is. They're trying to play man-to-man, and they're not going to pass it off the right way with the two guys. So he's going to come underneath and be wide open, let alone if he doesn't like that, he's got DJ Moore on the swing route with a lead blocker in front of him because this is one of the new concepts in football. But instead he looks there and doesn't give Cole Kmet a chance at all, predetermines for some reason that he's not going to have DJ Moore, and then flips to the other side and throws it to who was that, Keenan Allen in the back of the end zone?
Yep.
Right. So that was another huge missed opportunity, and if I remember correctly, he takes a big sack the very next play. So, yes, more of like I'm going to make a play instead of just do what the defense is telling you and play the play. Don't go in with, wait, I'm going to show them and throw a touchdown in front of my family and we're going to show Jayden Daniels and company, right?
That to me is rookie 101.
I think
just
so.
Not trusting and living in the offense yet, where the situation, right, it's 2nd and 12. The clock's on your side. You got a minute and 18 left, and you're already at the 25.
Chip away.
All you have to, either, like you said, even if you're not confident in Kmet breaking across the middle, the dump off to DJ Moore, who's phenomenal with his ball with the ball in his hands, he's probably going to get at least half the yards there to get you in 3rd and 6.
Yeah,
I agree with you. He saw the one-on-one to Allen. He got excited. He wanted to make the big play.
I think so.
A lot of rookie quarterbacks with big arms. That's what they lean on.
If he really does that play to perfection, he's going to hit Cole Kmet on the run, and he's going to get another 10 to 15 yards. And they're going to then have a really easy chance to score a touchdown with what you talked about and how you laid it out, which was perfect. Thanks for making me look good there.
That's my job.
But that is again, just a microcosm of things he did throughout the day. And I will say this, too, before we go to the next picture, because I know we have one more or maybe two more. I do feel like they had a good feel for Chicago's offense, especially early in the game. Chicago loves to, single receiver on the left, he runs an out route, and then maybe the 3 receivers from the right all kind of come into the screen. And they were very good at we'll play outside leverage with that guy you want to run the out route, and we're going to drop a robber in. So now those people you got coming across the middle for read 2 and 3, somebody's going to be there. Early on in the game, I feel like Chicago was a little too predictable in concepts like that, where they just got to play man. They were like, wait, if he looks over here, they're going to break out most likely, so just play outside leverage, and then when he looks to the crossers, we'll have somebody there, and it gave them problems. Like I said, it was underwhelming from all angles with Chicago in this football game for the most part, other than their defense.
Considering the lack of ingredients though Dan Quinn's working with, it is impressive what they're able to do. Like Johnny Newton looked really good up front for them as a rookie, but on the back end, it's not a lot.
No.
It's all scheme to me.
It's scheme. It's all, smoke and mirrors and aggressive play.
Kind of tricking you into thinking you're a man.
Exactly, right. They do a good job of that.
We do have one more here.
Okay,
this is from towards the end of the 3rd quarter, about 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter on a 2nd and 2.
Yep.
And we're going to get into this. This is another one where he has a deep overthrow.
He launches it deep
for no
on
reason.
The post route, and we'll see on the next picture, he's double covered. I mean, here you are. Look at the pockets clean.
It's 2nd and 2, by the way.
It's 2nd and 2. I mean, throw the ball to Allen. He's wide open, and let him catch the ball on the run and get another 10 yards or so. Who knows? Maybe the guy falls down as he's trying to tackle him, and he ends up getting 20 yards, maybe more. I mean, this is, again, I think goes into what you just said and what we've been saying. It's like I'm going to make the big play. I'm going to show everybody. There's been all this talk about Jayden. I'm going to show everybody that I'm ready to overtake him now in this rookie year, right? You didn't need to do that. You've been great as of late. He's too many force the issue type plays and throws and looking for I'm going to make the big play and end the game here. And yeah, that was a horrible decision. Again, a chance to move the ball, make the right play, and unfortunately, that came back to bite them in the butt. We know with how the game ended and everything like that, but the game could have been totally different, again, if he hit some of these throws we talked about. Trust me, there's 3 or 4 other throws of whether it was just missed throws or wait, he's open, throw it, that he missed during this football game that, of course, hurt their football team, and he could take a lesson from the guy he played against. Because the guy he played against is Mr. oh, that's what they're giving me? Then I'll throw that. Oh, they're giving me the 5-yard out route? I'll throw the 5-yard out route. I'll throw the 5-yard out route. I'll throw he does not flinch. He does not get bored with moving the ball down the football field. That's one of his greatest skills, is he is so calm and cool all the time in Jayden Daniels, and he doesn't look to force the ball very much. And that happens sometimes. When you have a great arm like Caleb Williams and stuff like that, his arm is great. It's like a Josh Allen effect. I'm going to make a play. I can do it myself. We're not working today. Here it goes. And you can end up snowballing, out of your favor or into a bad position for your football team.
The biggest criticism with him coming out, if there was one, is that he hunted big plays.
And 100%.
And you know what? I think there's a glass half full to that where I think you could work that out of him.
Definitely.
But then he can hit the big play.
Exactly right.
So a lot more
we
positive.
We saw the right balance before the bye, right?
Yes.
We saw it. The 2 or 3 games before the bye, we went, oh, there it is. Execution.
Jacksonville was a show.
Execution, surgical. Oh, there's a big play. Shoo! Oh,
Yep.
He made it. And, he just got to get back to that.
So on the other side of this, Jayden Daniels, who's the favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year right now. We'll talk Hail Mary, of course. But Hail Mary aside, how would you grade this game for him, Chris?
He played really well. There was not, as you saw in my notes, there's not a lot of negatives to talk about. In fact, the game was kind of just ho-hum, and the fact that there wasn't anything like, oh, wow, look at what they do on offense, or look at this throw, this was amazing. Certainly made big throws. Don't get me wrong here by any stretch of the imagination. But they're a machine on offense right now with how they do things. And then when the machine doesn't work, he's got a great gift of, whoa, what a throw on 3rd down off his back foot to hit the out route. Or, oh, he got around the corner on 3rd and 5 and got 6 yards first down. So he's amazing that way. But again, I think from what you saw in my thing, I'm not sitting here going oh, this was phenomenal, this was crazy. It was just good play, very good play, good play. Oh, really good play. Wow, high-level throw right there. It was a lot of that, and that's kind of what we've seen from him throughout the year to this point.
Yeah, I've been impressed that Jayden has kind of learned you don't win the game in one play.
Exactly right.
And Caleb hasn't learned that yet.
No, totally. And that's a good way to say it.
To be fair, Jayden Daniels started for 5 years at 2 different programs in college.
Yeah.
So that's the benefit of experience. That's a thought with guys like him, Penix, compared to guys like Drake May and Caleb Williams, who did not start as many games, and they get big play happy, and they're going to slowly work their way out of that as they get more reps.
Yeah, hopefully. But you're right. He plays a very mature brand of football. He does. And then, his knowledge of that offense, and it's just not rookie-like. It's comparable to what we would say. And in fact, in some ways, I would say it's even more impressive than what he's doing than C.J. Stroud last year, because I feel like what Washington's doing is actually more on offense than what the Texans were doing with C.J. Stroud last year. Last year, it was they ran the ball and they ran play action, right? And they were great at that. That's it. And in Washington, they put him in the shotgun. They let him direct traffic, change plays a little bit. I mean, he really does it all, and that's where he's really impressive. And early on in the football game, I thought the Bears were too conservative on the defensive side of the ball. Played zone. They were afraid to play mans or some of their matchup zones that they are so good at doing. They played a conservative approach, and, because of that, I felt like Washington kind of picked them apart for the most part of the football game until late in the third, fourth quarter, where they started to make stops and get Washington off the field finally.
Well, it was the tale of 2 different endings of halves for the Bears defense. We saw in the first half, they were looking smart and knew how to get into the locker room. And we'll get to how the game ended in just a second, where they did not.
Yeah, well, we know the Hail Mary play, right? But what I talked about with Ahmed a little bit on Sunday, and one of the things we talked about on Football Night in America was the play before the Hail Mary. Right, the play before the Hail Mary, they let them get a 13-yard completion to throw the Hail Mary. That was the stupid
distance,
right? Where they were on their own 35-yard line. Again, you're going to have to throw the Hail Mary probably from 7 or 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage when you run, like he did at the end of the football game. So he's not going to be able to throw the ball 80-something yards. right? Or 75 plus. I don't think he has that kind of arm.
No,
he's
he
got a really
doesn't.
good arm, but he's not a 75 arm guy, right? That Caleb might have been. So here's what they did on the second to last play of the game. The ball's on the 35-yard line. You could see no Chicago Bear defender is within 35 yards of the line of scrimmage as far as DBs are concerned. So
looks like a kickoff.
Right. So Jayden Daniels just drops back and they throw a 12-yard out to the left sideline, get the ball to the 48-yard line. Now they get a chance to throw a Hail Mary. Now let's take it back to the first half because they were in a similar situation in the first half and they played the proper defense. Here you go.
Sidelines.
This is what should have happened on the play we just saw. Then they would not have been able to throw the 13-yard out route. They weren't going to throw the Hail Mary. In fact, in that situation, invite them to throw the ball down the middle of the field. They have no more timeouts. Go ahead. Do it, right? So they do this. You see this right here. And Washington runs a play before the end of the first half, and you'll see that, of course, they're trying to throw the ball out of bounds, and out on the sideline, there's nothing to be had there. The Bears are all over it. This is the exact same defense the Bears should have run on the second to last play of the football game. Then there would have been no Hail Mary. It would have been probably let's throw the ball over the middle and do the lateral fest, right?
Which never works.
Which never works. Exactly right. So that was a blown opportunity by the Bears. I think they got scared. Like, what? Maybe they're going to throw 2 Hail Marys in a row? I really don't know. But they panicked in that situation and didn't think that through totally, and it came back to bite them in the ass.
It really did. It was obviously the difference in the game and just a wild ending. So the Commanders are at the Giants.
Yep.
The Commanders were 0 for 6 in the red zone against the Giants in week 2. I'm curious what their adjustments are going to be.
Red zone is not their best thing.
Yeah.
Even this game. Field goals all game long, really, right? Other than the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
It was
felt like
4
they
field
could have
goals.
ran away with it, and they never did.
They never could do it down there. They could not. So that has been something that's, plagued them to a degree throughout the football season. Now, the good thing is they don't turn the ball over there and don't do that. They always come away with something, certainly. Here's the other thing I want to say about Chicago and where it was just like bye week. I don't know what you guys are thinking. You didn't play physical up front. They really didn't have a plan for Jayden Daniels scrambling. They really had. They thought they were going to play zone and just our eyes will be on him and we'll rally and make the tackle.
It's not that simple.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, he's going to run around.
Good luck with
Yeah.
that. Do you know how many times the corner and the linebacker saw him start to scramble and said, we'll rally to tackle, and then they ran and he went and stopped and then ran around the edge for them for another 5 or 6 yards? You got to have a plan. Later in the game, they started to blitz 5, right? At least clog rushing lanes a little bit. And they played a more aggressive style of football. The linebackers in the zone were kind of coming up and closer to the line of scrimmage, so when he did break, they were there to tackle him. But nonetheless, yes, and when you play him, you better have some sort of plan like that, especially in third down situations, because 3rd and 5, him getting 6 yards is nothing for this guy.
On the other side of it, the Bears, after that gut punch, they're at Arizona. Arizona's been feisty out of nowhere. How hard is it to finally put a loss like that behind you and totally package your thoughts for the following week?
I mean,
it's got to stick with you.
I mean, it's like one of those Monday you wake up, you're sick to your stomach.
Right.
Tuesday you wake up and you're still like, A.
Right.
I can't believe we blew that game. But as the day goes by, because you'll start to get, maybe a text from your coach, hey, this week we're going to do this, or they might get, email you some notes about like your opponent, you'll start to slowly shift. You'll wake up Wednesday morning and have a real quick of like, I still can't believe we did that.
Right.
But then you'll move on with life and you won't forget it. You won't remember it for the rest of the day and you'll move on to the next opponent. That's kind of how it worked for me at least, and I know a lot of my teammates and friends through the years.
Let's take a look at the NFC number 1 seed, the way things stack up right now. Obviously, the North is pretty loaded. A lot of NFC North right here. The Lions, 6-1. They are plus 150 to be the number 1 seed. Somehow the Eagles right behind them at 5-2. They've kind of got their season back on track.
They are. It's an ugly 5-2.
It is real ugly, but your record is it says what you are.
And they still are one of the most talented teams in football. I mean,
absolutely.
They're 5-2, and I think that's what's frustrating and ugly about it, because you go, it's just it never looks as dominant as I think as anybody in football thinks it should look.
Maybe,
There's a lack of offense. There's a lack of stuff on that side of the ball right now where it's run inside zone or we throw a lob pass up to A.J. Brown. or Devontae Smith. That's what they do. That's their offense. There's really not much to it. You talk to any D coordinator in football that plays the Eagles, they're going to tell you the scheme is nothing. It's just we hope we don't get steamrolled by their offensive line, and we hope that our guys can make a few plays on the ball when they throw it up to AJ and Devontae Smith. That's all it is. They don't do a lot of different formations. There's no variety in passing schemes that way. None of that. My money would be on the Lions right now. I know they're the favorite, but they are playing some awesome football.
Favorite for a reason.
I think, to me, the other team, and I think the Commanders are playing better football than the Eagles, but the other team is the Packers. I think the Packers are dangerous as hell. I think, honestly, the Packers' talent level is right up there with the Eagles and the Lions. It's in that category. It's up there. I'm not going to say it's as good as the Eagles, but it's in the conversation. And then the way they play on both sides of the ball, they got playmakers. They're aggressive on both sides of the ball. I like all that. They're young. They mess up every game somewhere, somehow. But I think as the year goes on, they will continue to smooth that out and become more of a mature football team. And, of course, I think they're going to have a say in things in the NFC.
DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers could bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the app and use the promo code UNBUTTONED when you sign up.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Look at that. It's like you and me have been doing this forever.
We really have, actually. We started doing that on Happy Hour to a point where it's out of control. It's just people screaming, out of sync. So I thank you for bringing that tradition to our show.
No problem.
We're going to take our first break here. When we come back, we'll look at Tua's return, plus how Jameis Winston upset the Ravens. Coming up right after this. Every week, DraftKings sets up the free $1,000 Florio and Simms Pick'em pool. Pick every game against the spread for a chance at a $1,000 prize pool every single week.
Download the DraftKings app, click on the pools tab, and enter the Florio and Simms free $1,000 Pick'em pools to make your picks.
Welcome back to the Chris Simms Unbuttoned podcast presented by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. Pick 6 continues here, Chris, as we get into Kyler Murray ends up spoiling Tua's return.
How dare he?
Ooh, man. And, this felt like the Dolphins were kind of waiting for their hero to come back.
100%.
This is a tough one with the way their record are. It felt like they really needed this game.
They did. I mean, they let one slip away. They were in the power position as far as the game, up 20-10 with the ball, right? And you'll remember the center kind of threw a hard snap or snapped a hard shotgun snap with a little too much juice on it at Tua. I'll say that. It hit Tua right in the hands and the face, but I will say that it had a little too much speed on it. And it was hard for Tua to control it. The ball popped in the air. He had to knock it out of the back of the end zone for the safety, and the game was never the same after that. That really was a turning point of the football game, let alone could Miami maybe have been up a little bit more by that early on? Were they a little conservative? Was Tua maybe not as willing to hang in the pocket and throw the ball or just wait a split second longer to throw the ball down the field? Yeah, certainly, but I would expect that. I mean, again, it's his first game back. He's a little rusty, and in his head he's going, don't get hit hard or this might be the end of my career. And you definitely saw some of that aspect in his game, and it also begs me to wonder, what is it going to look like when they're up in Buffalo this week and it's loud as hell and the pocket is collapsing, right? The first thing you watch about the football game, Connor, is it felt like they made a conscious effort to get the ball out of his hands. I mean, I'm going to say 10 out of the first 12 throws of the football game, for the most part, are behind the line of scrimmage or a yard or two down the field. And I understand that. Get him in a rhythm, get it out of his hand, do all that. But my point is, it's hard to win a football game when your passing game is horizontal. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, you're absolutely right. The numbers speak to what you're saying. 5.1 air yards per attempt. That was 28th among starters last week. For context, last season, he was averaging 7.6 air yards per attempt. At least that was 17th among quarterbacks. So he was more middle of the pack in terms of pushing the ball. And this week, Chris, it just looked like, you said, almost a college offense, what you would see out of a Big 12 screen-heavy offense.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's got some cool aspects to it. I like it, right? I understand that. But I do think it's going to be hard for them to win on a week-to-week basis playing that style of football. Again, to have 38 pass plays and only get 234 yards off of that,
it's hard to do.
That's
those Ferraris
exactly.
around
That's not
the
stressing anybody out. And again, I do think defenses have figured out, and this is another game that'll show you, most of these defenses have kind of figured out the McDaniel trick plays, right? So there's got to be something else to the offense. It can't just be, oh, cool screen to Tyreek, cool swing pass to Mostert, oh, cool swing or screen to Achane, oh, behind the back, forward lateral shovel pass.
Right.
Like, okay, all those are cool, but those need to be in between plays. See, they're kind of hoping those plays bust open and are their big plays. And I'm going, no. You got to draw back and throw the ball down the football field a little bit and hit a few of those throws. Then some of those other plays are going to hit. But right now, everybody's playing to stop that because they're going, throwing the ball deep. They're not going to do that. And if he does, he's not the most accurate with all the time. He had one deep shot to Tyreek down the left sideline that he underthrew by 15 yards, and it probably should have been a touchdown. And teams are willing to take the chances on those type of plays rather than letting Tyreek or Achane catch a 0-yard pass and run for 70 and go up the sidelines for a touchdown.
On the other side of it with Kyler, how did he pull off the comeback in this game? Because it did feel like a tale of two halves for Kyler Murray, and it's been an up and down season for Kyler. He's had some amazing weeks. He's had some dud weeks.
Yeah, I mean, really, I can't sit here and go, oh, they like started to surgically destroy them or anything like that. What they did is they started to kind of attack downfield, and he made some big throws down the football field as the game went on. I mean, that's really what. The first half, they could not get in a rhythm, kind of get anything going that way. But, as the game goes, okay, this is the problem with Miami a little bit. Miami can't rush the passer with 4 real well.
They got a blitz.
Right. Miami's defense statistically is up there. It's number 6 in football. I'm not sure it's really the 6th-ranked defense in football. I would say they've played some really poor offenses that have enhanced that a little bit, if you look at it, right? So that is one area I look at them to go, they're good there, but how good are they? And the fact that when it is a big moment and they feel like they need to get pressure on the quarterback, they almost have to blitz, and they don't have the type of corners in secondary that is like, oh, well, they can man people up and stop them in blitz situations. That's not what they are. So that's where I worry about them a little bit on that side. But really, I think when I looked at it, like, I can't say there was anything schematically that I looked at other than that they picked up the blitz a little bit better. He burned them on the blitz a few times. I think that backed them off. And they kind of just found a group of plays that kind of got things going and jump-started their offense that way. And the one thing I'll say about Arizona is they stay patient with the run, too. Even though they're running for 2 and 3 yards, they don't care. They stay with it just so they can hit Trey McBride off a little play-action fake down the middle, or Marvin Harrison or whatever it may be. And that was the big thing. But Kyler Murray played really, really damn good.
As we showed you, the Dolphins were blitzing over 57% of the time in the first half. They dialed that down to about 30% in the second half. It feels like they might have got beat a few times, and then they just cranked it all the way down too much.
I think it was a little bit of that, and they were going, wait, we're up. We have control. Why leave us?
Don't get burned, exposed.
Let's not blitz everybody, and he gets around the edge and runs for 60.
Which he's done to teams.
Or he gets around the edge and sets up, and now it's like, oh, shit, we all out blitzed, and our guy has no help, and it's Marvin Harrison's 40 yards downfield. I think there's a little bit of both there, but let me just, this part here. Second half, definitely better than the first half, but nothing was easy. Like, nothing. I mean, some of the plays and throws he made, and again, I'll second what I said on Sunday night a little bit from what I'm seeing more from Kyler Murray this year. Less panic in the pocket, less like, oh, wait, there's people around me. Let me go backwards and spin out and run around, right?
Right.
He's sitting in there. He's hanging in there. And then also, when he feels people coming, he just goes, okay, I'm going to get on my back foot. I'm going to throw it. And yeah, he's going to push me and hit me, and I'm going to fall to the ground. But I'm still going to throw it instead of like kind of flinching and trying to make a move and then throw it, or just running out of the pocket. And that's where I do feel like he has changed his football game and become a lot more dangerous that way.
So this week, the Cardinals, they got Caleb Williams and the Bears. And then the Dolphins, as you said, Chris, they're at Buffalo. That's going to be kind of throwing Tua right back into the fire with that pass rush, especially the way Rousseau is playing right now. And
yes,
it's going to be tough for
and
Miami.
They have found that what we know is they know how to defend Miami.
I mean, Miami's had no answers for them for years now.
Miami, the other thing that I left out in that football game, just on that side, run ball more.
Right.
I'm so sick of seeing them run for 10, run for 12, run for 10, and then throw the ball 5 plays in a row. Like, what are you doing? I mean, you were gashing them. They just give up on it too quick to go like, oh, let's throw one of our cool little 4-yard passes to Mostert or Waddle or whatever. Like, why? Why are you getting bored with 10-yard runs? They definitely like just lose their way on that a little too much. Yeah, we'll see. The Dolphins are a team that I'm just not sure about. The Dolphins scheme is good, but I think their defensive players are just okay. I don't think their talent is great there. I don't. And, this week, especially with the blitz, right? I think they felt a little comfortable blitzing Arizona because they were like, there's no speedster to be scared of down the football field. Right? And I think that's why they were so aggressive with it early on in the football game. But, if they try to blitz and do that shit against Josh Allen this week.
It's never going to work.
No, they're going to get torched.
There's too many options right now for him.
I'll be interested. I need a little more time with that Dolphins defense to see how good it is. But either way, good that Tua got out there. Kyler Murray's playing at an awesomely high level. Marvin Harrison Jr. is getting going. And we'll see where this Dolphin things goes. I think it's one of the more interesting team subjects in all of football.
And one of the biggest surprises of the week, Jameis Winston torches the Ravens defense. Now, Chris, I will say he got away with a couple as Jameis. That's live by the sword, die by 100%. The sword. That's the Jameis Winston way, which is a big improvement over whatever Deshaun Watson was doing. Here's a stat for you. Yeah. He averaged 10 air yards per attempt. Deshaun Watson hit that mark just once in his 19 starts with Cleveland. So I think it's safe to say this is a Cleveland offense that is not going to be afraid to actually push the ball down the field right now.
No doubt. I mean, what would they have looked like if they made the switch a while ago? The first play of the game is he throws a crosser, I believe it was to Njoku on the first play of the game. And I just go, holy shit. First off, Deshaun Watson would have never thrown it. And it was a gutsy decision for a guy that hasn't played much. And he just hammers it right in there. But that was to me right away things are going to be different with Cleveland's offense today. Because my man is going to drop back and fire the ball. That's for sure. Right? So that's where he was really good. Now, here it is. The Ravens. The Ravens defense, how can you not be worried about it? They can stop the run. I get that. That's all great. Right? But that's about all they can do. That's it. I don't know what they're going to do. The Ravens have no pass rush with their front four. None. And I've been saying this for a few weeks. And they have to blitz to get pressure. But the problem is when they blitz, they have nobody that can cover on the outside. So there's a real issue there. And I think they're going to have to really figure out what they want to do. Here's what I would say with the Ravens. I think the Ravens should blitz every play and just be crazy aggressive because when they sit back and rush for and play their other defenses, they get torched.
They don't stand a chance.
They don't. At least they might get torched on some of these blitz plays, but every now, they also might strip sack fumble, tip a pass in the air, get an interception at the line of scrimmage, do something like that. Their offense is awesome. They made a trade for a receiver yesterday. I think they realized we just got to outscore everybody. The defense. We got no chance. And the defense running some of these four-man rushes and playing there, it's too much slow death. Right? I would take the approach of more of like the Packers and the Lions where they go, we're going to be aggressive and you're either going to go 3 and out or you might go down and score a touchdown real quick, but our offense is going to be back on the field and we're going to be applying the pressure anyways. See if you can outscore us and make more plays than us today. I think the Baltimore Ravens have to play that style of football because I don't see a silver lining in that, the defense is close or about to turn the corner. No. I think with the way they continue to play, they're going to continue to get gashed in the pass game after game after game.
That throw you brought up at the beginning of this, I suggest everyone to watch it.
Did you
it was
see
a second down. It's one of the best throws of the week. Right? Njoku. One of the best. I mean, you couldn't throw it better.
No.
If you tried.
No. I mean, he's covered like glue, and he just goes, I'm going to throw it and put it right where I need to. Yeah. And he puts it in there. I know.
It is interesting when you watch this Browns offense, how much better all of a sudden. Well, Cedric Tillman's getting an opportunity because they traded Amari Cooper.
Yes.
He looks great.
He looks really
good.
But
Elijah Moore factored into this offense, and Njoku's always better when anyone but Deshaun Watson's playing.
Right.
I think there was a little something to Stefanski, kind of feeling like, okay, I'm actually a good play caller. Watch this when I have anyone else under center.
Yes, that's why I've been defending Stefanski.
I think he's a really good coach.
None of this is Stefanski's problem. He's been told by the owner and the analytics group that they had to play Deshaun Watson. He didn't want to. Come on, you could see this look on his face. Deshaun's our starter.
Looked like he was being held captive.
Deshaun's our starter. I'd like to go choke myself out in the back, but yes, Deshaun's our starter. Schematically, wow. The offense was totally different with Jameis Winston. With Deshaun Watson, it was basic bullshit, little three-step drop, West Coast bullshit passing game. With Jameis Winston, like you said, they attacked down the football field. I wrote that in my notes at one time. The scheme, the passing concepts, aggressiveness of passing scheme is all on a different level as compared to Watson. Average depth of target has to be way up. Average yard per completion, air yards, all that has to be way up. I'm not there to look up stats and do that, but I guarantee. And that's where it changed them. But I think think more than anything, hey, it was awesome to see Jameis and all that, but the biggest thing I take away from this is the Ravens. And like I said, their front four is an issue when it comes to rushing the passer. They don't have enough cover guys, and I think you saw in my notes there was a few times where I wrote, I think they just need to blitz and be aggressive and play that style of football because they're wasting their time when they try to play their sound zone 4-man rush and do all that. They get toasted every time.
One more note on Jameis Winston and this Browns offense. He was 8-13 on play action, 147 yards, averaged over 11 yards per attempt, passer rating over 126.
Yeah.
And we know that's how Stefanski wants to build the damn thing, especially with Nick Chubb back.
Exactly right. So
that's going to be a problem.
That makes you defend the whole football field like we always talk about. Jameis, like you said, there was probably 2 plays intercepted. I will defend him on that second to last play that should have been intercepted. Elijah Moore fucked him. Elijah Moore took an angle of going where he threw the football, and then as Jameis was throwing the ball, he broke down
been his problem.
And broke down and changed the angle of his route. If you watch it back, you'll see Jameis what the hell are you doing? You were going this way, and I threw the ball, and you changed directions. Jameis saw the field really well. They played good on offense. Watch out for Cleveland. They might be able to go on a little run and get back in the playoff conversation. I wouldn't be shocked with that with their defense.
We're going to take our last break. When we're back, we're talking about which teams need to make a trade. Welcome back to Chris Simms Unbuttoned, presented by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. Pick 6 continues here, Chris. We are 6 days away from the trade deadline right now. To recap, a couple moves that have come down to the wire already. Ravens acquired Panthers wide receiver Deontay Johnson and a 6th-round pick for a 5th-round pick. The Chiefs acquired Patriots pass rusher Josh Uche for a 6th-round pick in 2026. The Vikings, after they lose Darisaw, acquired Jags left tackle Cam Robinson and a conditional 2026 7th-round pick for a conditional 2026 4th-round pick. Any of those deals that you actually move the needle a little bit? Or
they all move the needle. I think the first thing I look at with the Ravens is I just go, what they told me with that trade is that our defense sucks and we're going to outscore you a little bit, like I was trying to say there a little.
Somebody that can catch the ball.
Also, and then maybe a little bit of hey, wait. If one of our guys get hurt at receiver, there's a big fall off here, so it gives them a little insurance there. And then, maybe Rashad Bateman and dropping the ball in the sun, whatever, it bothered them.
That was a tough moment.
That was a tough moment. I like the way Rashad Bateman has played this year.
Me too.
I do. But I think it just gives them more weapons on that side of the ball, and they probably looked at it and went, wait, this player for this trade value, we'll take this right now and see where it goes. But, I think it definitely screamed to me that it's hey, the hell with our defense. We're going to outscore you. That's just what we got to do, and we'll move on from there. The Chiefs, we know DeAndre Hopkins. That was great, and I think that will only continue to get better. I watched that film there yesterday, and I think Hopkins was going to be in the trust tree with Mahomes really quick, but I love the Josh Uche trade. That, to me, is another one. I love doubling down on the strength of your football team. Their defense is the best defense in football. I don't give a shit who's number 1. The best defense in football is the Chiefs. I know they're in the top 7 or 8 or whatever, but I'm taking the Chiefs if you make me pick a defense. And if there's one problem with the Chiefs, it's that they have to blitz a little too much too. Now, they can blitz because they got guys that can play man-to-man and do that type of stuff, and they're really creative on the back end. But I think they also look at it and probably go, wait, we don't want to blitz Lamar in the AFC Championship every play, or Josh Allen for that hand all the time. So can we get there with the front four and somebody that can do that from time to time? I think Uche is going to be a very valuable pickup. They have everything on their D-line except that really scary edge rusher.
Situational pass rusher type.
Yes.
Almost a specialist.
Exactly. That's what he is.
I mean, he's not going to be playing
and he could
run.
be outside linebacker, DN. They're going to be able to use him in a bunch of different ways. I loved that trade right there.
And the Darisaw injury was such a gut punch to the Vikings. One of the best tackles in football. Cam Robinson's played a lot of football. At least gives you not a depth piece because he's going to have to play.
Yeah.
But they needed some kind of answer to protect Sam Darnold.
Definitely. I mean, they throw the ball too much. Their offense is too damn good. It was too big of a drop-off between Darisaw and who they had there. The Jaguars are in sell mode. Good. You get Cam Robinson. Hopefully he can hold down the fort for the rest of the year, and that's all they need him for is this year, really. It's the last year of his contract, so we'll see where that goes. But, yeah, I did think that was a good pick or good trade by the Minnesota Vikings.
A couple of questions and suggestions from the homies. Gannonite, 100% Arizona needs to trade for a pass rusher. Ojulari brothers in the desert sounds nice.
Yeah, I hear you there. I hear you. Now, if the Giants wanted to try to do something like that, I could see that. Especially if they know they're going to extend Kayvon Thibodeau for the future.
And let Azeez walk.
And maybe you feel like you start to want to acquire assets. That's one out there. I don't totally agree with our listener there and the fact that they need a pass rusher. There are enough. I've said this all year. They have no blue chip front seven football player. You ask Johnny the fan on the street in New York City and go, hey, who's a defensive lineman on the Arizona Cardinals? They're going to go, who's a linebacker?
Right.
Nobody's going to know anybody. In fact, the only person most people will know on the Cardinals defense is Budda Baker, right? The big thing with them is, do they want to go for it this year? That's to me to be the big thing. Or do they want to just go, wait, we're not ready to make a move really deep into the playoffs yet anyways. Do we want to just wait, keep our assets and continue to build our team and do it that way? I could see that also going through their minds as far as big picture stuff.
They probably don't want a rental. They're thinking in the next 2 to 3 year window, not a guy to just get them through this stretch right here. Plug and play 16. CNC, sup fellas? Would love to see the Broncos make a move for David Njoku or Evan Ingram to help their young quarterback out. Denver is lacking explosive playmakers.
Yes, that's for sure. Cortland Sutton's the only guy that you worry about at all down the field, right? And he's not even necessarily the guy that's just going to run by you. He's going to big body you, jump up in the air. They need something. They need something else. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now, I don't think Cleveland's trading Njoku right now.
Make a little baby run here.
Cleveland's going to wait this out. I mean, I know they don't have much time, but I think they're going to try to give it a go here. Evan Ingram, that'd be interesting. I don't know if the Jaguars would be willing to part with him. He just got a new contract. He's extremely talented. He might be one where, they might be sellers as a team, but he might be one where they're like, nah, with our quarterback and him, that's too good of a combination. There's too much value there. We like that for the future. We're not giving up on that aspect of our team quite yet. I would have a hard time thinking that Jacksonville would part ways with him.
Yeah, Evan Ingram, he's owed a lot of money next year as well, so he might just be there, and they might try to run him back with one of Trevor Lawrence's favorite targets. All right, let's do another one here from Nuevo Huevo. The Cowboys need to be sellers at the deadline. With the disappointing start to the season and Micah's contract coming up, Dallas should be thinking long-term and getting assets towards adding cheap young talent.
Right. Well, I don't...
Would Jerry sign off on that?
I don't know. And the other thing is like, who are they selling? They going to sell Micah?
No.
I mean... You're not selling CD. You're not selling Dak. After that, I don't know if there's a lot of no
one's trading for Zeke.
Right. No. The other receivers on their football team, nobody's trading for that. So that would be my question. I don't think they're going to trade Jake Ferguson. He's kind of like we were just talking about with Jacksonville. Right. They need something for the future. He's a good tight end. Is DeMarcus Lawrence when he gets healthy?
Right.
But I mean, I don't think that's the case. One of these corners. Maybe that's somebody. Maybe there's a Jordan Lewis if they want to do that. Sure. I could see that, right? I mean, Deron Bland, he's healthy. He's injured. He's not healthy right now to play, and I don't think he or Diggs are trade material. I think those are two kind of staples you'd like to keep a part of your football team. But I don't know if there's a lot out there that really is worth them selling or anybody's going to buy out there on the Dallas Cowboys that's really going to make a difference. I think everything they have that we go, ooh, that's pretty good, they're going to want to keep those guys for the future. And the rest of the guys, I don't think there's anybody out there that makes sense that teams are going to want or there's going to be a market for.
Well, the money might be too hard to move as a guy like Zach Martin.
Zach Martin is a guy I thought of. You're right. Exactly right.
But pedigree
is right. But
you wonder when the wheels are going to fall off the bus.
I think it's slowly going there anyways.
So too.
Right.
He makes a ton of money.
He makes 16 plus a year
and there's
something
void
like that.
money up for the next couple of years.
So that to me, yes. I don't see teams going, oh, wait, I want to do that and then be stuck with the contract and who knows how much I got to trade to get it. So, yeah, I don't see that happening at all.
All right, our last thing here for Pick 6. We got to talk about what you hinted at in DeAndre Hopkins' debut with the Chiefs. Listen, I know it was limited what he could actually do out on the field because he'd been there for about 3 days.
Right.
But how much of an impact did Nuke have? We know how important a possession-type wide receiver is for this team right now.
Well, I think it's going to be quick to have an impact. First off, the fact that Mahomes threw the ball to him on the first third down of the game, I think says a lot.
Right.
That says he's in the trust tree and he knows what he's doing, and Mahomes knows that, and he felt comfortable throwing the football. There's another 2 or 3, maybe 4 plays in the game where I go, Mahomes should have thrown the ball to him too. And he'll look at the film on Monday and go, oh, wait, I can trust this guy. Oh, he gets open, and I need to get my eyes over there and think about him that certain.
It was a third down in the third quarter.
Exactly
that we're
right.
Show here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there was a third down in the third quarter. Hopkins, I know you said, Chris, you thought he was open a couple times, and Mahomes just didn't see him.
Yeah, definitely was. This was a 3rd and 9, right? He's got basically single safety defense. He can throw it either side, and he decides to play Xavier Worthy and on an outbreaking route. And as you can see, the corner's playing on the outside. He's there for it. Let alone, I don't like Xavier Worthy in these type of instances. He's not a box the guy out, catch the ball through contact along the sidelines. DeAndre Hopkins was running the backside, like deep slant, whatever, pop slant, however you want to call it. He was open. He should have hit him there. Mahomes did not play his best in this football game. He definitely predetermined, looked at the rush a few times, missed a few chances to throw the football down the field. The one thing I'll say about Kansas City, man, 2 and 3 tight end sets. You got to watch Kansas City. They do a ton of that, and they are really good at it, and I honestly think it's the best way they play football. The second half, they tried to play 11 personnel and do some of that, and I didn't think they were nearly as effective in their approach, their attack, and the versatility they have when they have the 2 and 3 tight ends in there in the football game.
They lead the league in 2 tight end sets.
Okay.
Over 49% of their plays.
I thought so.
That's the most in the NFL.
People wouldn't expect that because all you hear about is Baltimore and all their tight ends,
right.
and I'm like, nobody plays more tight ends than Kansas City.
In 3 tight end sets, they are 3rd in the NFL, over 17%. The only teams ahead of them is the Steelers and the Cardinals right now. So the Chiefs might have found something with a little heavier personnel.
When they get in those formations, and all those tight ends can run pretty good, they are very creative in the different looks they give you and the schemes they give you. I like that a lot. And now that he's got Hopkins as a legitimate 3rd down value type of player, I think that's going to be an option in a go-to moment in the passing game is what I should say. I think there's going to be real value with having Hopkins on the football field because Hopkins is one of those guys. He's still crafty and can get open. He doesn't going to fly by you, but when he's covered, he still is open. Right. You can throw him the football, and that's where he's great.
Yeah, you trust him in traffic, and let's be real. With Hollywood Brown coming back and Xavier Worthy, that's not their game, as you pointed out in the screenshot.
Exactly
so,
right.
That's it for us.
All right, baby. Here we go.
That was great.
You the man as always.
Great
looking cool, looking
Thanks,
good
man.
today. Coat, hoodie. He's got it all. You're so much cooler than Ahmed. It's not even close. But I hope everybody enjoyed the Pick Six. If you want to find me again tomorrow, PFT, PM, Chris Simms Unbuttoned collaboration picks podcast with Florio.
It's still going?
Pumped about that.
I saw the
I'm going to ask
eruption.
Barry if we can get him in there to substitute him but we'll see where it goes. Pay attention. Check us out in our pick spot. I'm kind of hot with my best bets lately. Hopefully I don't jinx myself. Everybody be good out there. Enjoy Thursday night football. Little Jets-Texans action. That should be good. Connor will be nervous as hell about his Jets.
Oh, no, the nerves are gone.
All
it's
right.
over.
Enjoy Goosey night. Enjoy Halloween. Peace out, homies. Be good. Clap it up. Yo, homies, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.